Hey everyone, it's David O'Hara from RealMusic.ai. While I was talking to Dr. Bill Evans in Steve Morse's studio, I also had the chance to chat with Jim Odom, musician, engineer, and the founder of PreSonus. PreSonus has been a major force in modern music production, creating recording hardware, digital mixers, audio interfaces, and this Studio One recording software platform. Jim has spent decades building the tools that engineers and musicians use. So I asked him how music production has evolved and where he sees AI taking us in the future. Here's our discussion.
Welcome to AI Music Unmuted. Real Talk by RealMusic.ai.
And how are you doing today, Jim?
Doing great. How you doing, Dave?
Awesome. So there's been a huge evolution of music hardware, certainly for over a decade. And I just want to hear from your perspective as a veteran in the business. How do you see this evolution and where do you think it's going?
Well, I mean, it all started with, there's a couple of pieces behind me here called ADATs. I don't know if your audience knows what those are, but there's the original digital audio tape that, mass consumers could purchase. It wasn't expensive. That changed everything. So in other words, digitizing audio. So you told me to go back 20 years. So there's a lot to talk about. But I mean, since the invention of just ADCs, digitizing audio, how to store it, how to manipulate it, how to play it back, how to record it, um, we've all been working on those tools for a long time. Everybody on our side of the industry, and it's stunning. Obviously, how far it's come from splicing tape with actual razor blades, so you can do anything you want, all the way to everybody knows tuning and just basic algorithms that now help you mix and all that kind of thing. So all the way from idea creation, mixing, mastering, and basically launching and distribution in the music process has become, anybody can do it now, right? So that's the message, right? So the next anybody can do is AI, right? So now we're training AI agents to kind of help you in the process. And this is coming along. To me, it's in its very beginning, infant stage. Like in everything tech, the first 2-3 years are going to be just massive explosion of ideas and people. It's going to start to thin out a little bit, probably in 5 years, to really useful, meaningful tools. Is how I see it going. So it was always been that way historically with new technology. There's an explosion of people, then there's a few tools that stick around and really make a difference in your workflow or make a difference in a musician's ability to write, record, and produce and distribute music. So
The real increase in what's possible is if you already have some musical talent. And, we're not so much about prompt and generate full songs, but more about the hyper creativity and the workflow optimization. But we also hear a lot of people that say that the art comes out of the struggle too.
well, absolutely, the art comes out of the struggle. But I mean, there's multiple lanes on the road to success, right? So there's going to be success in the fully created by, but organized and curated by somebody that's very creative. Then there's going to be the lane where we're composing and creating and really generating something that is original. And that's a real key word. What is original anymore? It's a tough word to apply to your music or to your art. And so, um, there's always going to be, like, we're in Steve Morse's studio here, and what an original human. I mean, some of his compositions could never have come from anything but his genius brain. So it's an interesting time, though. One thing's for sure, there's going to be 500 million more creators pushing music to Spotify every day. Instead of 180,000 new tracks a day, it's going to be like 500,000 new tracks a day.
Do you think, though, that this is where taste really comes in?
Man, that's a really difficult question because it's subjective. And I think that's, how do you describe what resonates with certain humans and why? That's age-long studies on that. Bill probably has written papers on it, you know, as in his PhD world. But I think some music, if I'm cooking and the background is all AI generated, I may not notice. But if I'm enjoying music, I'll want something really original that really touches me personally.
I put out an article recently that just said that for people to throw everything that's just called AI music into one bucket is lazy thinking.
Oh
And,
yeah.
there's a big difference, a lot of what Bill does
Mhm.
and just text prompt generate a song. I mean, there's just a wild difference. So a lot of these real workflow use cases and a lot of the important things that are being done is really important. It's really different. And that's a lot of the things that people don't know are out there happening.
Is it a tool? I think that's the main question. Is it a tool or is it just a full on does everything for you? In other words, is AI doing it for you or is it a tool for you to do what you want to do creatively? That's the question, right? And the stuff that Bill's working on definitely touches on bridging that gap to me. He's right in the center of it. So
Right. And sometimes where is it getting in the way and where is it helping you?
Pro Tools gets in the way, I can tell you that.
Yeah. So talk to me about, where do you see the hardware software side things going?
Well, the hardware is not going to change significantly. I mean, you may find some like zero latency AI processing going on that quote unquote to kind of help people perform maybe. On the recording side, I think that we're just trying to get the purest signal we can into the system, whether it's a computer or a digital mixer. So um, I don't see those tools are really well understood, and the drivers are well understood. Maybe distribution around the studio is going to get simpler and less complicated with either networks or UWB, ultra wideband networks, and things like that for headphone mixes and stuff. I see some opportunity there for people. But that's, that the hardware side, I don't see a whole lot of updates on that. Now, once you get inside the computer, everything is wide open. I mean, is the DAW going to just go away? Is a great question. We don't think so at all, but a lot of people talk about that you'll be able to everything in a browser more or less create, record, have smart agents actually do editing for you, mixing for you. So that may work for 60% of the people, 20% of the
Right.
people, right? And, somebody told me one time, never underestimate good enough. I get shot in the head in this room by saying that because the people in this room are perfectionists, but you know what I'm saying?
It's a tough room.
It's a tough room, but, just don't underestimate that because, there's going to be there'll be some good stuff to come out of it, but it depends on the genre of music. We're doing blues and blues rock and progressive rock here, which is it has to almost come from the dirt, you know, the
Agreed.
idea and the vibe. So it's just that the general public probably doesn't know, but there's a lot of consolidation in the pro audio industry right now, products, and it's going to be interesting to see how the plugin world shakes out. Um, and I think plugins in general are going to change to be more intuitive and maybe machine learning based and things like that. I see that as being a benefit in the recording process. So that's a big one. And then, I mean, kids still want to play instruments. Let's just keep that going.
Yeah.
Mom and dad.
Yeah. The drum machine didn't quite kill the drums, I suppose, right?
That's what we keep saying. All the
Yeah.
drummers thought they were out of work, right?
Yeah. Do you guys want to share any of the ways that you might have worked together?
Well, Bill and I have been knowing each other for many years, and we would get on the phone and or on Zoom and just talk about problems, and it's all about solutions, right? So how do you solve this particular problem? And he was very helpful. Get online with the Studio One developers and just help us think through things. So you know,
Thank you, Jim.
you bet.
Yeah. Well, you made a big impact on recording and performing. And thanks for sharing some perspective.
You bet.
I hear you got some sandwiges to get.
I gotta go.
We're
I've
never done running for sandwiches, are we?
got a hungry artist over here. He's like drooling, looking at me.
All right.